Are you ready for the weekend yet? We have events, news, and a guest for you to enjoy this Lake Life weekend. Hello, and thank you for tuning in to our latest podcast. I'm Dirk, I'm your host, and we are starting the third season of our Lake Life Weekend podcast program. And I must admit, I'm fairly proud because I didn't realize until just recently that we have recorded over 130 interviews in the past 2 years, and we have over 10,000 downloads of our program. And I was actually not expecting that. I just did it because I enjoyed it. And I really appreciate you tuning in and following us on all our channels with what we are doing. So again, I want to make a little shout out here before it goes into our program, which is really interesting because I just had with me Riley Esser out of Perham. And he has a hemp farm, which is called Uncle Funky's Farm, and you will hear all about hemp production and the difference between obviously THC and CBD oil, hemp strains, and all things they can do. So stay tuned for our program, but thank you again for tuning in. We have a lot of feedback, and we are working on another season of our magazine right now, which will go into print. We are working on a new event in March, our Lake Life season kickoff party, and a little save the date. Please mark your calendars for March 20th, Friday, and go to explorelakelife.com for more details and the program. We will be throwing a party with live on stage crop dusters at 6, and then at 8 we have on stage Tripwire, and it will be a fun event. We we have Zorbis passing out 1,000 free personal pizza tokens. So that means we have door prizes this year. It's a free event on top of it. So come and collect your free pizza token for this upcoming season. We have a lot of program. We have a beanbag tournament. We have a frisbee golf challenge course. We have some exhibitors. We have a road trip show, all kinds of things. Please come and open the Lake Life season this March with us. But also check out our website, as always, lakelifeweekend.com, for updates in the local area, and let us know if we should send you a magazine which will go into print in February, and then we will send those out and deliver them everywhere end of February. But now, I don't want to keep this much longer from our program with Riley Esser. Here, enjoy our newest and first recording of this year, 2020. Thank you again. Please also follow us Instagram, Facebook, leave us some notes, email us anytime to hello@lakelifeweekend.com. Thank you for tuning in. Hello and welcome to another episode of our Lake Life Weekend podcast. I'm here today with Riley Esser. Hi, Riley.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
Yeah.
And just a little background here. We work with someone, Ryan and De La Rosa. He does a lot of our design work and is involved with our production behind the scenes. And you also work with Ryan, who does some of your website and storytelling.
Yep. He's building our website for us. We don't have it up and running, but I think we'll have it running today, I hope, actually.
Yeah. So he actually mentioned you last year already and talked about your hemp farm in Perham, around Perham, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
So that was a really interesting story he brought to our attention, and we finally connected, and we will hear about hemp and the difference between THC and CBD and all those things. But before we dive into hemp and hemp farming in Ottertail County, maybe give us a little bit background about yourself. I think everybody in Perm knows the name Esser. So you are related to the plumbing family.
Yes, I am. My dad's company is Phil's Plumbing, but we are related to Esser Plumbing and Heating. My uncle owns Esser Plumbing and Heating. We both have worked there over the years. My dad worked there for 12 or 13 years before he went off on his own and started Phil's Plumbing. And then I've been helping him since I was 13 years old, probably. So I've got a lot of plumbing.
You got plumbing in your blood, plumbing in your bones.
yeah.
Okay, so you're a plumber by trade, and is it third generation? Did your grandfather actually start it?
My grandfather did start it, yes. So I would be a third generation plumber.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. No, very interesting. And just to clarify, I think I learned you're not the German Esser.
No, not anymore.
You're
we did the ancestry, or I did the ancestry, and it came back as we're the English Essers now all of a sudden. So that's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. And I'm sorry I'm grinning because we spoke about that a little moment ago, and I was gonna do one of those tests myself, and I'm a little concerned because I am from Germany and I believe to have only German blood in me, but maybe I will be proven wrong, and I don't know if I want to find out. But so you're the Esser from the British, from the English side. Very interesting fact. So you're a plumber by trade, and I understand that your family purchased a hobby farm a little while ago, or like how many years ago?
It's probably been, let's see, it's been over 20 years, 23 years ago probably.
Oh, so you have been dinking around, let's say, on the farm with different crops and different...
Gardens mostly. Gardens, some livestock, chickens. We tried pigs a couple years ago. That was really fun.
They're dangerous.
They're delicious.
Oh, they're delicious too. Yeah, that's true. So you're actually a true hobby farm family, let's say?
Yeah, I suppose we fall into that category now.
How many acres?
Our total compound, we call it, is 46 acres.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
With pastures then, and obviously for livestock some,
yep,
and then tillable, I think is the term.
Yep. We only did 2 acres of tillable this year. We do have pasture. There's no animals on it right now. My parents keep chickens. Yeah.
Okay, and everybody lives there, like your family.
Your dad? My dad and mom have a house. It was the original house, and then they moved a place on for my grandma who has passed away.
Oh.
And my brother and his family live there now. And then I moved a house on too, or built a house.
Yeah, okay.
So, we've got a compound.
Yeah, no, it's really, I was just going to say it. It sounds like a compound. Very cool. And it's by Perm.
Yeah, it's in between Perm and Ottertail.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And when was it, or actually let's talk about that, because I did some research. Hemp, what I found was it's like a 10,000-year-old crop or fiber that has been used pretty much forever to produce material. Let it be rope, or like maybe tell us a little bit about the history of hemp.
Well, yeah, hemp has been used by humans since as far back as history goes, pretty much, from what I can tell. And originally they used it for cordage, for making ropes and textiles and stuff like that.
Because of the strength or something?
Yeah, yep.
The fiber.
The hemp fiber is super strong. It's one of the strongest fibers you can find in nature. And then they moved on to using it as medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where we're at now, as we're growing for CBD.
Mm-hmm.
CBD's, it's an oil, cannabis oil, that has some good medical properties. It helps with suppressing cancer. Of course, that's the first place everybody always goes, is to cancer. Cancer helps with pain, sleep, helps people who have problems sleeping, insomnia, anxiety. I know people use it for anxiety. We grew a lot of smokable flower this year, and what I'm noticing is that a lot of people just don't like to smoke anything anymore.
Yeah. But 1 second, before we dive into all the products, that is interesting. But just to clarify, maybe some parents don't even know, maybe everybody knows, but we have the THC component and then the CBD component in those plants. And what I learned is that there's different strains, or like there's different plants.
Yep.
One is more THC heavy or concentrated, so that's the drug.
Correct.
And then we have the CBD, which is more for harvesting oils or producing oils.
Right.
And they're different different plants. Or no?
They're all cannabis. They all come from the same family.
Yeah.
Genetically, they're the same plants.
Right, but different strains then. Maybe.
But yep, it's strains.
So
strain specific.
So they're legal. I mean, obviously we're recording a public document here, and
Right.
And it's a legal product. I mean,
Right.
we're not talking drugs.
No,
And
it
it's
has.
impossible to produce drugs out of it.
It is impossible. Well, mostly impossible. Yeah.
Let's stick to the impossible.
Yeah.
No, I mean, with the stuff that I can probably get and plant, that would be more the CBD version.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So just to clarify, because
But
it's very interesting.
Even if you wanted to grow some, you'd still have to be licensed through the state. Even if you're doing a small amount for yourself,
Oh, really?
for personal use, even you still need a license through the state.
Oh, really?
And the guidelines on the THC for this hemp is it needs to be below 0.3% THC.
Okay, concentration.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, it's funny because I mean, it's not legal in this state. I mean, maybe some people have seen Elon Musk smoke weed in one of the podcasts. I think it was in Seattle with Ronan or whatever his name is. And there it's legal to consume and to grow and whatnot. And when I was, I was probably 16 or 18, in Germany it was not legal really. It was always tolerated. But in the Netherlands, as we I think all know since the 90s, it is a legal consumable product. And we went over. I don't even know what that all is like, but you could buy it, and then we tried to grow it. I think everybody tried to grow a hemp flower. I think I did, and parents at that point didn't even know if it's a fern or nobody knew what that was.
They didn't even know what it looked like
in the 90s. Yeah, but I tried. I guess not really farming, but probably in a pot. Not a pot, like in a flower pot, but I don't think I succeeded. I don't even remember. But interesting. So now it's highly regulated, and in the state of Minnesota, even to go into the CBD farming, you would need to be licensed, and then you can, if you're licensed, receive the seeds, I guess.
Yep.
And start.
Yeah, there's seed producers all over the United States since the hemp was legalized. I bought them out of Oregon, and there's a company out of Wisconsin that I really like. I was actually talking to them yesterday about getting some seed. They sold me my cherry blossom seed last year, which turned out to be really nice hemp plants. They came out beautiful.
Okay. Yeah, tell us, so how long have you been licensed then? Or how long have you been practicing or trying or growing?
I guess I have a little bit of experience prior. I went out to California years ago and just kind of observed how they grew their cannabis out there, and picked up a little bit on that. And I've grown a hemp plant here and there over the years as a little practice, and I got pretty decent at it. And now I'm growing hemp. We started last summer was our first summer. Our crop did really good, better than we thought it would. My plants were 7 feet tall.
Really?
Yeah, they got huge.
So let's zoom in again. So we have 2 acres.
Yep.
And you just put it in as if you were to plant corn.
No, not exactly.
How is that?
We put it down they call it mulch, but it's like a lot of vegetable farmers use it. It's plastic that you lay down in the dirt into rows, and then we last year we kept our closest ones were 4 foot on center, so you need a little space for them because they get so big.
Oh, really?
So we had them 4 feet apart, and we did about 2,000 plants on 2 acres, so 1,000 plants an acre, about.
Okay.
Um,
And then they grow like a bamboo, or obviously they grow high. You said 7 feet. Do
Yeah.
they also, if you need 4 feet, so they grow 2 feet each side? Is it like a shrub? How does it look?
It looks like, you know what? It looks like a Christmas tree farm is what it looks like.
Oh, really?
From a distance. That's what everybody who saw it be like. Well, are you growing Christmas trees over there?
You can incognito. You can. You don't even need a fence around it. Okay, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
And they go wide a little bit then.
Yep, they go wide. If you top them, cut the tops off, they'll go even wider. I didn't do a lot of topping. I just let a lot of them just do their thing, and they got huge.
When is planting season, and like how long does it take? I think it's one of the fastest growing plants around.
It's amazing how fast they grow. We had ours in July.
That late?
Yeah. Yep. We put ours in the beginning of July, and they got to be 7 feet tall, which, yeah, it is amazing how
By
much.
September or 2 months or?
Yeah, we were out harvesting end of September, even into early October.
Okay. And you had so you plant them just under the foil?
Cut holes in the mulch, the plastic I was talking about. This year we did it on our hands and knees, which was crazy. I don't think we'll ever be doing that again. But yeah, we literally punched holes in the plastic on our hands and knees and planted every single one of those plants.
2,000 little seedlings.
By hand, yes.
Did you pre-grow them in a greenhouse?
Oh, we started them in a growth chamber. Actually, Grassroots, Tom Mineover, he helped me out with that last year. He was very helpful.
Ah, yeah, okay, so you start them and then you relocate them.
Yep. So when we planted them, they were probably 4 to 6 inches tall.
Ah, okay.
Yep.
And why is the plastic? What's
just
the technology?
to keep the weeds down. There's also a water drip line that runs under the plastic, so if we need to water, we can turn that drip line on. This year we had so much rain that I think I only turned that drip line on maybe 4 or 5 times all summer long. Would have been a good year to not use a drip line. If a guy was starting out instead of spending that money, you know.
Yeah.
But I didn't know it was going to happen that way.
Yeah.
So
so you went down on your knees like the old days, no machinery involved, like very organic.
Yeah.
So, then harvest. Do you have machinery? Like, did you do it by hand or
we did that by hand too. We were literally out there with a chainsaw because the plants got so big.
Really?
That some of them, you know, the stumps would be 6 inches in diameter.
Really?
Yeah. So we were out there literally with a chainsaw cutting down one plant at a time, harvesting one at a. It was a pain in the butt, man. But we got it done. And
then you pull them, or you have a trailer, like, and then you load them, and then you go into a garage and you pick the leaves. Or how big are the leaves?
Well, the leaves get
What's
pretty.
What's the process like?
Yeah, the leaves get pretty big, but what we're after is the flower. So what we do is we have a machine. It's called a bucker, and it grabs the stem and pulls the stem through. So you debranch a plant.
Oh, sure.
Take all the smaller branches off, and you send the branches through one at a time, and it knocks the bud or the flower off. And then from there, we take the flower and run it through a tumbler trimmer that we have. And then we have trimmed flower that needs to be dried at that point and cured.
Flower is really the blossom. The actual is a flower, like a.
Right. Yeah.
Okay,
or a bud or a flower. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's where is there seed in, or is that where you gain the oil? Because I thought we would kind of mesh the leaves. Okay, so everything is in the flower.
Correct. Yep.
I see.
Yep.
How big is that?
Well, the buds can get pretty big. I guess we had some colas that when they were at their prime were maybe a foot long and 3 inches in diameter. That seems like a lot of flower, but when it dries out, it shrinks down massively. So
it's already dry when we harvest it?
No, it's wet when we harvest.
Oh, okay.
And then we dry it and cure it for sale or use.
Yeah.
We also sent a lot of our product to an extractor in Fargo, which will be turned into oil, CBD oil, crude oil.
Okay.
It can be brought down further into distillates and isolates. But what we have now is just crude oil coming from a company out of Fargo.
And that is from the flower also?
Yes.
Okay, so that's...
They extract it using an ethanol system. So they soak it in alcohol and then extract the oil, and then they pull the ethanol back out of the oil. Through it's almost like a super high-tech still. Yeah.
Interesting. So, if we're talking 2 acres and 2,000 plants,
Yep.
How many flowers, how much weight, how much oil is coming back? Like, what is the crop volume?
Well, we dropped off 1,800 pounds in Fargo.
Wow.
Some of it was just bucked, and then some of it was...
That's almost a ton.
Yeah, I know. 800 pounds of it is what we call biomass, and that's stuff that came off of the flower out of our trimmer. And we saved all the trimmings, all the small leaves and little buds that fell through and stuff, and we also brought 800 pounds of that up there. And the 1,000 pounds, like I said, was just what we call bucked flower. So it was just big super sacks full of bud, and it had, it's not trimmed. So it has the bud and the leaves and everything in there. Yeah, and they're making oil out of it.
How much oil was then produced?
It sounds like we're gonna get at least 30 liters.
Okay. That's
which
10 gallons. Just shy of. I think 10 gallons would be 36 liters.
Yeah.
So, not even 10 gallons, 30 liters. I mean, I love that you talk metric to me because that's my language. So 30 liters. That's like 30 or 15. 2-liter Coke bottles, right? Let's talk consumer language. So 15 bottles full. Okay, that's still a lot of oil, no?
That's a lot of oil, yeah. And then we're on a 50-50 split with that company. That's what they charge, is a 50-50 split.
Okay.
When we first started looking into the industry, a lot of extractors were running a 70-30 split. But the industry blew up so big, and there was such high demand for these extractors that they could pretty much name their price, and the standard is now 50-50.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's good.
But buying the machinery would probably be $100,000 or impossible to...
Or more.
More probably.
Could be millions of dollars.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So, now, what happens with all the other material? Is it used for fiber? Do you sell it off to make rope? Or?
We would love to, but there's nobody doing that yet.
Oh.
So what's gonna happen with our cordage is we're probably gonna run it through a wood chipper and till it right back into the field. Just because there's no market for it yet.
Okay.
Hopefully there will be. The United States really needs to move back in that direction. Originally, the United States grew a ton of hemp.
Yeah, I thought that to read that.
Yeah, during the Revolutionary War, being a farmer, you were required by law to grow hemp.
Really?
For the war cause. So, and they grew it during the Civil War for the sails on the battleships. I mean, it's kind of weird that they ever made it illegal to begin with. But so now
they made cloth. So what can we all produce out of it?
They produce a lot of cloth textiles. Most of it comes out of China, though. We really need the United States to start producing its own textile grade hemp, which I think we're going to in the next few years. I think we're going that direction. I hope we're going that
And then
direction.
we can replace like cotton, or what can we produce? Like bags for potatoes, or what would we say? I mean, we don't need sales anymore really for battleships.
Levi is looking at switching their denim over to hemp denim.
Really?
Which is that would be great. Lego right now is switching all of their blocks over to hemp plastic blocks. They're in the process of doing that.
You can make plastic out of it?
Yes,
Or like
yeah.
a well, it's obviously not plastic, but
They call it hemp plastic,
really?
yes.
Well, okay.
And I'm not exactly sure the process on it, but I know that Lego's in the process of converting all their toys over to hemp plastic, that's great.
No, it is great because obviously it's a bio product, and
Yeah.
you can just throw like it doesn't do any harm. It's not plastic.
Right,
It's
right.
not oil-based plastic, or at least you know what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I would imagine it's a hemp oil-based plastic. I don't
Right.
know the exact process.
It probably degrades or like falls into pieces again eventually. So we could do jeans style pants. We
Yeah.
can do, I guess, bags, like any kind of.
I've seen shoes made out of hemp.
Really?
Yeah, I just saw some on Facebook the other day. It popped up on my feed. Dope kicks.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's your secret stash
Yeah.
to your feet. Interesting. Okay, so we have a lot of materials. We have oils, like on the CBD side, and then we have a possible harvest material for ropes and all. Like, I'm surprised. We should maybe look into that. Producing. I don't know how to. Do you know what the process would look like to convert it? Like, and what is it? What part of the fiber? Is it the stem, or like how do you?
It's in the stem, and I guess they're starting to produce them in the United States again, but there's a machine called a decortigizer.
Okay.
And what that does is it strips, there's the core of the stem, and that's a different product.
Okay.
I can't remember what that's called, but then there's the cordage, and the decortigizer will cottonize. They call it cottonizing it, and it pretty much looks like a pile of cotton after it runs through there.
Oh, really?
It's
Like fluffy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've only seen one example of that. Winona LaDuke out of the White Earth area has a decortigizer, and she was at a hemp meeting or a hemp show I went to, and she had an example of some decortigized or cottonized hemp that she grew.
She has a machine up there.
Yep.
Why don't we sell the stems there, or give her the stems?
I think she's growing enough for herself.
Oh, really?
To handle right now. But yeah, it could expand. There's also different types of hemp. See, she grew two types of hemp. She grew her CBD hemp for her flower, and then she grew cordage hemp, which is tall, skinny hemp. It can get 15 feet tall, and it's
Really?
tall, super skinny hemp, and that's more what they're looking for their decortigizer and to cottonize for clothing and fiber and stuff.
So what's the most interesting part about the plant before we talk about CBD oil and remedies or whatever? But is it the fast growing? Like, obviously it grows in Minnesota, but we have hot summers. So like the kicker is, or it's so fast growing. Yeah, 15 feet high. I mean, that's like bamboo.
Yeah. On cordage hemp, that stuff grows like crazy. I've seen that they're rediscovering old hemp strains that have just grown in the United States since it was legal. Wild, what they call ditchweed.
Oh, really?
And now they're reintroducing those strains back into the hemp because they're useful for cordage and stuff. I guess in Tennessee they've got some that get huge.
Huh.
And that's what they're raising it for, is cordage.
Okay. So now with you said your harvest will be 30 liters, and then you will have 15 liters after your cut of the oil coming soon, I guess. And then what are you all making out of it? Or like, do you have a processing facility then, or?
We haven't decided what we're gonna do with our oil yet.
You could sell it, I guess, to a producer or like to someone.
Yep, we could sell it. Or the company that's making our oil for us could sell it, and then we would get 50% of whatever they made off of that oil.
Sure. So they label it. They have a production facility. They produce stuff.
They can. They call that. They call it white labeling.
Sure.
And that's just kind of where you get a product and it's already in a container, and then you can label it your own way.
Right. Yeah.
So that's where there's a good chance that our oil will go to like a white labeling company.
Okay.
Um,
Which somebody just has already a brand established and,
Yep.
and then just uses your Perham or like Ottawa County grown oils, and then it's maybe a very well established brand.
it could be.
So they could just use
Yeah.
I don't know, like dairy farmers bring their milk, and then all of a sudden it's that kind of cheese. So you would be a supplier to them,
Right.
but you can also produce your own, and you could create a brand. Do you have a brand name, or like do you have an idea on what
Yeah, we call the farm Uncle Funky's Farm.
Uncle Funky?
Uncle Funky's Farm. That's what my nieces and nephew call me. So we just thought it'd be kind of funny to
Yep.
go with that.
Yeah.
And we also have smokables too. We're selling pre-rolls and little 1/8 bags. We have them at Westside in town here. We have them at Acima in Monoman, and we also have them at the Wagon Wheel in Richville.
Okay.
I'm looking for more storefronts to put them in, but
Yeah.
um,
So that's a different product. So let's talk about the oils later. So what are the smokables? So it's a cigarette style
yeah,
tobacco. It's not a tobacco, obviously, but it's not THC
Right.
heavy. Is it calming? Is it then CBD concentrated then?
right. It's higher in CBD than THC, so you get calming effects. It helps with body pains. If you have issues sleeping, it helps with insomnia, anxiety. A lot of people use it for anxiety.
So okay. Now let's. So I could rub oil on my forehead, or I could probably. I don't know. What do you do with oil? Do you drink it? Do you put it on your skin?
The oil, there's a lot of different products they make out of it. Yeah, they make topicals and mix it into lotions. They make a lot of tinctures, which are like a liquid form that you just drop on your tongue to get the medical effects. Those are really common. I've seen all sorts of stuff. Lip balm.
Okay, so
You know.
so you kind of want the CBD to be absorbed by your body, and then we can use it in the oil form,
Yep.
or we can smoke it.
Or you can smoke it. Yep.
Ah, okay. So is that a traditional? Actually, I mean, like, curious. Is that what probably indigenous cultures? I mean, thousands of years ago, did they find that out too? Were they CBD? Did they use it only for? When was it invented that like we realized it was actually calming and?
I'm not too sure on that. I think mostly this whole hemp thing comes down to laws. I think most people would like to grow fuller spectrum hemp or cannabis, so you get higher THC and higher CBD both. But with the federal laws we have, we just can't do that. They put the federal guidelines at 0.3% THC, and that's it. That's bottom line. You can't have any more than that. If you do, you have to destroy your crop.
So it has to be tested before it's.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Employee of the state comes in and actually takes tests.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you're okay.
Yeah.
You're audited, so to say.
Yeah.
But when you buy the crop, you already buy it with the assumption or the promise that it is not an illegal crop or seed.
Yeah, you really got to do your research on who you're buying your seed from. There's a
really?
lot of shady seed dealers out there.
Oh, really?
And
Comes with the industry. No.
right. Yeah, there's a lot of people in Minnesota who had to destroy their crops this
Really?
year because it was too high.
Well, but then I would definitely make a claim with the seed supplier, because it's like, if depending on what they promised.
It's hard to go after your seed suppliers.
Really?
They might even just disappear.
Huh.
You know,
Interesting.
the company you bought them from might not be in existence when it comes to harvest.
Wow. Okay, so it's still like an industry, like the Wild Wild West a little bit.
It's a
still
little Wild West.
It's a little Wild West. Still,
Yeah.
but okay, so now going back and from the learning, we don't need to be afraid of it. So actually, it's not a drug. It's not like a illegal drug. So the THC is regulated, and obviously before it even hits production, the state regulator comes out, audits you, and says, okay, this is not dangerous according to the law. right?
According to the law.
So according to the law, it's not dangerous. And then we can consume it in a smokable way, and
Yep.
then in an oil way, and then we can rub it, or like we can use it as a lotion, we can lip balm, and we can use it as a drip. Or
Yep,
like we can
a tincture.
yeah, we can eat it or whatever.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, and they have these general effects. Like I really don't know anything about it, so it's like, is it like type of CBD would be calming? So this is it like. My point is like there's medication for anxiety, there's medication for pain. Obviously, there are different chemicals. Is it like is CBD like general? It's like it's the spectrum, or is there like CBD A, CBD B, and C?
Right.
I really don't know anything.
Right. Yeah. There are different parts of the plant. There's CBDA.
Mm-hmm.
There's also new things being found. There's strains coming out now that are called CBG strains,
Okay.
and then they're higher in CBG than CBD. But what's really cool about the CBG strains is they have almost zero THC. They're even lower than like the CBD hemp that I grew this year.
And what does it stand for? CBG.
Jeez. CBD is cannabinoid oil. CBG, I don't know. I'd almost have to Google it.
Yeah. Okay.
The stuff.
So new.
Yeah. And then there's CBN that people are really interested in too, and I've looked into those plants, but they pretty much don't exist.
Okay.
And from what I understand, if people tell you they have them, they're probably lying to you.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
another one of them Wild West shady deals, you know?
Okay. So are we able to then the oil? Could we make something like I'm just thinking? Let's create a product. So you get your 15 liters back.
Right.
You could probably put them in little glass closing. What is it called? Like a little
vial.
A little vial
Yeah.
of like, I don't know, 10 milliliters
Yep.
or 15 milliliters, and then you could sell those with a little label on it. Oof, I see
Yeah.
Uncle
Yeah.
Funky Farm. So oof, oof, duh, and then maybe like whatever we have our oil, and then people can just consume it as they want. They can put it on their nose, they can put it on their
Correct.
tongue. Okay, so that would be one option.
Yep.
But you could also say, you know what, I'm selling oof chocolate cookie.
Right.
And you can put little drips into the chocolate cookie dough.
We could absolutely do that.
Or like drinks, like
Yep.
chocolate milk. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I think it'd be fun to set up a booth at the farmers market here in
Right.
town this summer, and
Yeah.
maybe have some cookies and brownies and stuff like that. I think it'd be fun.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you are still exploring your options on how to use. So you're not selling wholes, like you're not really like a corn grower usually just sells it to the elevator, I guess.
If somebody called me and said they wanted 50 pounds, I would sell them 50 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, right now we're selling our own pre-rolls and our 1/8 ounces, and hopefully we'll have some oil products before too long.
So what are the pre-rolls? Like how much is one of those?
They're 1 gram
Mm-hmm.
per pre-roll cigarette, and they're retailing. I think the stores around here have them retailing right around $15 for
really?
2 of them, for
Oh,
2
wow.
cigarettes. From what I've noticed, when people smoke them, for one person, a cigarette's usually like you'd have to put it out and light it again later. For 2 people, 1 cigarette seems to be just fine. You'll smoke the whole thing between 2 people.
Okay.
Uh,
But you don't get high, you just relax.
just relax.
Yeah, really? But
Yeah.
it works?
Yeah.
Huh, I'm
yeah.
tempted.
I've been getting. I'll leave some with you.
Yeah, of course. We should be having this on video, like Elon Musk has said. It's like the Minnesota version of a smoke here. But okay, yeah, no, I would gladly try it out. So that's like an expensive cigar. I mean, like, I think everybody's like, well, people drink scotch in fancy movies with a cigar, and like the cigar maybe even $20.
Right.
I mean, and then the scotch. So it's just a recreational, natural product.
Yep.
And I mean, it comes with a cost, but if you share, I mean, okay. So it's not a daily. It's not like cigarettes. Like the people just smoke it.
Right.
And they smoke a pack a day, which is also $12.
Right. Right.
Right. So okay. So we have, and what is the? You said pre-rolls, and then there's another product.
They're 8 ounces.
And what does that mean?
It's an eighth of an ounce, pretty much 4 grams. Yeah.
Oh, it's just a bigger.
An eighth of an ounce would be 3.5 grams technically.
Okay.
But I just weigh them at 4 grams because it's easier that way.
and then people put them into cake dough, or like what? What do you do with that?
That would be stick it in your pipe and smoke it type stuff, or
okay.
roll your own if you want to roll your own cigarettes.
Okay. Oh, it's the pre-rolled, or a little bit more to just.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little cheaper that way too.
But that is all legal.
It's all legal.
It's
100% legal.
Yeah, made in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Locally grown.
Yeah, locally grown. No, it's like craft beer. It's also relaxing.
It's very comparable to craft beers. I feel like the microbrew world and the hemp world run hand in hand.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I can see that because the
it's nice to have a craft beer and a
absolutely,
and
the alcohol content is actually significantly higher. Like, I mean, between 6.5% and 9% alcohol in a craft beer. I mean, like, it does get you drowsy. I mean, at least me.
Yeah.
And if you're coming from a light version of a beer with 2.3%, so it is a stronger as a drug. Actually, it's also a legal drug. So I mean, all this boo-hoo. If you drink that, you're actually getting intoxicated, or like drunk and weird. So, and with smoking the CBD version of a hemp plant, you're actually getting relaxed. So you're getting in this relaxed mood.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's no euphoria or any of that stuff going on.
Oh.
No psychoactive effects.
Yeah.
So it's just pretty much gets you chilled out.
Yeah. So, and you're planning to go on the farmers markets?
I would love to. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should try that out. I will follow your production. Actually, I want to see the plants this summer.
Yeah.
Maybe I can stop by and
we can do that.
Take a look.
Yeah.
And so for people to find more about, and that hopefully launching website of yours, what's the domain?
UncleFunky'sFarm.com.
Oh, that easy.
Yeah.
UncleFunkyFarm.com.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm very excited. Is there anything else you wanted to share? Like, do you know like how many farmers are in the area? Do you know? You mentioned the lady in White Earth. Is there more small little farms?
I think there was quite a few in Otter Tail County this year. There was Lee Berry is his name. He owned the Red Horse Ranch, but he turned the Red Horse Ranch into a oil making facility.
Oh, interesting.
Into extraction. And I know he had quite a few people growing small plots for him. And I knew of another lady over in Otter Tail who grew a couple thousand plants.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, I went to that hemp meeting in St. Cloud, and there was a lot of growers there, man.
Really?
There's probably 500 people in that building, and most of them are growers.
Really?
And they're all from Minnesota, so I think a lot more people grew than even what I thought initially.
Huh. Interesting.
They also, on the
That's why we're so calm here, maybe.
No, maybe. Minnesota Department of Agriculture, I believe you can go on their website and it'll tell you exactly how many licenses were issued.
Sure. Sure. Well, I mean, it's good proof that it is being regulated, and I mean, there's an organization. You have meetings and you exchange, I guess, information and knowledge. No, it's fascinating, and I'm curious to watch it and see it grow. I'm also interested in the usage of the fiber.
Right. Yeah.
The future, what that bears. I mean,
it's gotta take off in the United States again. I just don't see how it couldn't.
Yeah.
I know China's hard to compete with, but it's also not legal in China. But they're just kind of doing it anyways. And now it's a legal crop in the United States, which should put us on the map for some sort of hemp cordage production, I would think.
Right.
I would hope that people are doing that.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll stay tuned and and learn more. And when you're ready with a booth at any of the farmers markets, we will let people know. But if they want to find out more, they'll find all about it on your website. Can contact you and your product. Well, thank you very much for coming to our program, Riley.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure to have you, and you have a wonderful weekend ahead.
Yeah. This was a good time. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, this was already our newest episode of the Lake Life Weekend podcast. We sure hope you enjoyed it. Tune in again next week with another great guest and updates. Always check out our website, lakelifeweekend.com, and if you have some comments, please feel free to email us at hello@lakelifeweekend.com, and you have a wonderful weekend ahead.